Hi and welcome to a new week of game creation, and this week I'm going to try and gain the title of King of Kong after the previous guy had to give it up for some reason. We're going to try and create the original Donkey Kong arcade. There's going to be a few issues with this because, first of all, it's a platformer, so the player can jump at any time, the player's going to climb ladders. The Clickteam engine does have a platformer thing. We're going to try not to use it, again, for the reasons that it can be a little bit more fluid with collision control or collision, that you can kind of clip through things quite easily with it if you're not careful. And we're going to see whether we can build the movement engine from scratch. Other issues is that we'll probably see that nothing will line up nicely. With Pac-Man, everything lined up to the grid perfectly. I don't think anything will line up to any grid with Donkey Kong because the platforms are sloped. So that's going to be interesting to figure out how we're going to do platforming with that. I think the success criteria definitely for this week is to build up the platforms and have some sort of jumping figure be able to at least walk along them. I'm not quite sure we'll get ladders done, but we shall see. So let's get straight to it. So I've started a blank Clickteam Fusion project, which I'm always going to do so that if you wanted to follow along, you can. I don't really know what sizes I'm going to use yet. We'll probably just need to do some maths with the board. So what I've done is I've got this image. I forget where from. I think Google was my friend. Let's make sure that I know who it's from. It's some person on Pinterest, Odes Bodkins, who might have got... Oh, there we are. I got it from Spriter's resource. There we go. Make sure we've got that. And I've got the actual game on this site, freekong.org, so that we can just remind ourselves how it plays. Okay, so this board is what I'm trying to recreate. But if we have a look at the thingy bob here, and so... Oh, don't need to refresh it. Oh, that was a bad move. Anyway, right. You can see that these are straight, first of all. And then they move down. And that's going to be an effect we're going to have to replicate. We're going to have that in the game. Because I think that's quite an iconic thing to have. And then I've got to move out of the way. Oh, did it too slow. So we've got to do some maths with it, really, some geometry. So what I've done is I've just copy and pasted this into a new Photoshop, and we're just going to basically investigate it. So the first thing we notice is if I do a little square, I'm going to do an 8x8 square, 8-bit square, make it yellow, get rid of the border. And we can see that it fits into everything. And for some reason, it doesn't like going in odd numbers. That's really convenient. So I'm going to hold down Control to make it. So we can see it fits nicely into here. And you can see that all of these things are just 8x8 pixel art. And it's probably easier if I just highlight them, to be honest. trying to do too much. So that's just a repeated pattern. Okay, 8x8 repeated pattern. Same with the ladders. They're all just 8x8. If I show like that. And we can see this one here is kind of half of that. So maybe these aren't 8x8. Maybe these are 4x8. I think that would make more sense. Let's just have a look. So this one here, it's kind of 6x8. So these ladders are very interesting. I wonder if they go under the platform. I don't know whether they were able to do that back then. Clearly they were. And so we've got another one here. So there's probably some geometry here going on. Don't know. I wonder if they draw the ladders first. They must draw the ladders first and then put the platforms on top of them. And maybe the full ladder goes up to here. Interesting. Now, something I'm not interested in doing is just absolutely replicating this pixel for pixel. If you want to do that, that's brilliant. But I'm more interested in what can I learn from this to bring to my own games. And so I'm not really interested in getting it absolutely right. So we're just going to get started roughly and we'll see how we go. So first thing I need to replicate is the blocks. So we're going to have a active, click on it, and I'm just going to make it 8 by 8 straight out the block. Wow, that's tiny. So this is the issue we had before with the last project. So what did I do? Did I times it by 5? I can't remember now. No, I ended up timesing it by 3. So let's times it by 3. So 24 by 24. That looks more respectable. Okay. Now, I need to make that look like that block there. So we've got kind of 2 lines, one at the top, one at the bottom, and then a jaggy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it and try my best. I think that's close enough. I've done a different colour, variety and stuff. Now, we've got to make sure that the action point is at the top left. I always like dealing with top lefts. Okie dokie. So what I might want to try and do is see whether this will make a nice platform. So I'm just going to go straight to the event editor and say at the start I want to do a loop. And we're going to call it plat1. And let's see how many I need. So what I'm going to start at the bottom. So what I can do is I can put the grids on, and we will see that none of these line up to the grid at all. So if I line the grid up to the bottom, these work perfectly, but obviously it's a slope, so these will shift up slightly. And you might think, well, okay, but the next line will line up nicely, but it just doesn't at all. None of them line up. Well, that one does, but none of the other ones do. So you look, this doesn't line up, this doesn't line up, this doesn't line up. There's no coordination at all. So if you line up the bottom one, the top one doesn't line up. And you might think, well, it might line up with this one. So if we put the guide to that one, because it drops from that one, so, and so let's just shift it that way. Ooh, what did I do? Oh. Did the wrong thing. There we are. So I've lined it up with this one, and again, it doesn't line up with any of the other ones at all. You see that it's all offset, it's all weird. Which is quite cool that they were able to, I think it's maybe with the scan lines, what they did is just shifted it down as the gun was moving from left to right. They just moved the thing down perhaps. But anyway, it's probably too technical for this. Too technical for me to explain because I don't fully know. Okay, oh, we were counting, weren't we? That's what we were doing. Okay, so I'm going to do this bottom row. Or should I do the top? No, I'll do the bottom. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So the full width is 28. Okay, cool. We can deal with that. So 28. And so we're on a loop here. Just copy it in. Call it platform 1. And we're going to create, where are we? Create an object at, create our platform 1. And the X coordinate will be whatever this, well, it would be the loop index, give that 0. And we would times by 8, but we've times it by 3, so it would be times 24. So that it moves across. Y coordinate, I don't know, I'll just say 200. I think that's going to be alright. And we're just going to do all of them on the same layer. And there we go. Got a nice platform. That doesn't look too bad for a platform. I like that. So now that we know it's 28 across, we're going to have to work out what the size of the play area. Well, I'm going to make mine look like this. So whatever size this is 225. So 225, but we've times everything by 3. So, where are we? So 225 times 3 is 675. And yeah, we want to make everything else big. Right. And where is this on our frame? This is like, we're going to put this right at the bottom. That's where we're going to put it. So, going back here, we're going to, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And then, so it'd be 625, was it? 675. Take away 1 instance. Because the hotspot's at the top left, so we've got to take away the height of it, and it's 24, it's not 8. Let's see whether that works. And then when it doesn't, find out why. Ah, perfect. And you can see it just finishes there. Now, do we want it just to finish there? Well, it kind of does on there. I think it might be better if it doesn't just randomly stop. I think it would be nicer if it goes right to the edge, or we have borders on the left and right. I think it'd be nicer if it goes straight to the edge. So what I'm going to do is just 625, and then what, divided by 24, see how much left we've got. And we do have some left. So it'd be 24, and how many things? We're going to just go do some maths here. So it's 28 wide, so it's 24 times 28. So we want 672 as the width. Ooh, is this the width? I hope it is. Probably not. Might be the height. Yeah, it's always the wrong one. It's always the wrong one. Whenever you pick one, it's always the wrong one. There we are. Perfect. So that fits really nicely now. Now the problem is we don't want it there, do we? Because it starts here and then it shifts down, doesn't it? So we need to work out what the pixel difference is here. And we can do that just by seeing the number of times it goes up. So it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's actually going to be 7 higher. And of course we're timesing everything by 3. And so it would be 7 times 3, which is 21. So it would be 21 higher. And then what these are going to do is that some of these are going to shift down. Wicked. Now, I don't like this part here just sitting there. I kind of don't mind it sitting there whilst I'm working on it. What I can do is I can change this to not create at start, wherever that is. So create at start, it's right there. And you untick that, and then if I run it again, it won't create that instance. Alternatively, or as well as, you can just move it off to the left hand side here, so it's not getting in the way. Because we might want to put the score or something in here, rather than doing it programmatically. Okie dokie, so where are we at? Well, we've got our first platform done, and we can quickly maybe do the other ones. And we need a kind of rough estimate of roughly where they are. So this is currently where we're at, and we can see that it's 1 lot of 8, 2 lots of 8, 3 lots of 8 plus 1. I know I said we wouldn't do this perfectly, but so it's a matter of whether I do it on the same loop or whether I create another loop for it. Seems a bit of a waste to do like loads of different loops. We might as well do it with the same loop. we could just do all of the platforms going from left to right. So do 4 at a time, 1, 2, 3, like along like that. That seems to make sense. So we're going to just change the name of this to platforms, plat, and we need to change all instances. So anyway, we've used it because we're going to use this for all the platforms, I think. Now the issue is that at the moment this is running 28 times. So if I just copy, so I've clicked there, I've pressed Control C and Control V and just copied them. What I can do is it's not 4, is it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we worry about that? 7, right. There's 7 lines of it. And so I want to do this 7 times. So 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if I run this here, they're all just going to be on the same height. So what I want to do is just change the height of these for each one. And so this one will be, we said minus 3 times 24 and minus 1, which is 3 because we're timesing everything by 3. So let's see whether that works. And there we are, that's the next platform there. So this one will move down and then this one will move down. Okay, looking good so far. So this is probably a good place to stop. I'm going to pick this up next episode because there are going to be some of these tiles missing, because if you look on the next row, let's just bring this up, you can see here that there's a gap here, and so we need some way of saying to Clickteam, no, don't draw the first 2 on that line, which is dead easy, but we'll do it next episode. And hopefully at the end of next episode we'll have the platforms all drawn, which will be really good. But thank you very much for watching this first episode, and thank you also for all of your comments, all the likes and everything. It really does make a difference. So I'll see you tomorrow.